So when they put Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace and thought they was gonna burn them, shit, we was controlling the fire the whole goddamn time.
The whole time. So I do want to talk about, it's two different things I want to talk about because everybody's been talking about it, and I'm so people just feel the way they feel about it. Project 2025 and Chevron. I want to know about Chevron, but I want to talk about Project 2025 and how you feel about that and what that's for.
So the Chevron was to stop the arbitrary enforcement of rogue laws, right?
Mm-hmm.
These rogue laws, they really just rules and regulations from a private organization that's doing a governmental function. They're not our government. It's been a deceptive tactic the whole time. So once we realize that, the Chevron doctrine shuts them all down. If we apply it, it's a response to us canceling all of the contracts. I just spoke up for the collective because they didn't know what to do, and I did. And the ancestral protocols say the one that knows the way is obligated to lead. You don't allow the blind to lead the blind lest they all end up in the ditch. So in comes Cyclops, looking with the third eye to see beyond the veil. So I can tell all of the people who it was pulling the strings behind the scenes and what they're trying to get us to do.
Damn.
Her dream absolutely could have been about Dr. York, because that's an entirely fabricated case from A to Z. From the false paperwork that said that he had herpes when he got 25, 30 years of continuous annual doctor checkups with no herpes. Then he get to prison and he still tests negative for herpes. That don't make sense. That's a fabricated document. But
Kelly
all of them in there, all of the political prisoners. Another one, the brother that we remember is H. Rap Brown, Imam Abu Jamal Al-Amin. If you watch, you can go back and watch his case, and if you think that man is guilty, you got to be a goddamn fool. When I was watching the case, I knew they was going to acquit him because everything they needed to find him guilty wasn't present, and everything they needed to set him free was in the evidence of the case, and they still convicted him and gave him all them years. El Chapo didn't know he was doing business with the CIA. That's entrapment. He didn't know till Larry told him. I didn't even know Larry could speak Spanish, but I'm getting this message from the Wind Talker channel that Larry was able to have the conversation with El Chapo to explain to him how the CIA tricked him to feed the poison to his own people. And it pissed him off. And when I told people that, they thought I was crazy, but then El Chapo's wife, she come to court with one of these on. And she ain't Jewish. But all the folks know what's up. All of the growth and development, the black disciples, they know what's going on when I tell them Larry talking to El Chapo and he ready to rally the rest of the so-called drug lords to tell them what he was informed of that he didn't know before, that allowed him to exploit his own people out of the ignorance and the misguided social programs that the governments was using to keep them subjugated. He didn't know Mexico got as much oil as Saudi Arabia, but based on the Mesoamerican War, they're not allowed to use their own resources for the benefit of their own people. So we had to show the mineral wealth extracted out of Mexico. So now he don't understand why all of these people in Mexico have to cross the border when Mexico is filthy fucking rich. So when we told it to him and he didn't know it before, Now he can become the chief that he was supposed to be at birth when he came in to aid and assist his fellow brothers in overcoming the enemy of the conquistadors. That's who we've been fighting. They know it in Mexico. They know it in Puerto Rico. They know it in Dominican Republic and Haiti. We just don't know it on the mainland. We was fighting conquistadors, and we was fighting the French Legion at the same time. And all of the tribes was fighting. The 5 civilized tribes is the tribes assigned to hold the bear till we can figure out how to conquer it. So they used chiefs that they made treaties in their name, but these people wasn't real chiefs. They was just born over here last year. They Johnny come lately chiefs that was made chiefs by presidential order. That's not how chiefs is made on the land. You born with a birthright, and as you come into the realization of your status, you exercise your birthright, and that's how you show you a chief. You don't come in talking about I knight thee chief of the Cherokee. Who the fuck do that? That's some European shit. That's not how we operate. You born with the blood right to govern the land, and you exercise the blood right by informing the other clans members that you present, and they will eventually pick up on your presence and begin to act on the information by informing others. Each one teach one. We all gonna reach some, and we gonna turn this contagious information to set us all free. So now we know what they did. It don't work no more. And especially when the youth get it, they gonna take it to a level that I never even fathomed, and we already seeing that.
Yeah.
My favorite new guy that I just discovered a couple weeks ago, it's a young brother on TikTok. He got WTF News, and he is hilarious, but he coming with the receipts. He is hilarious. I love that little brother there. I want to get to meet him one day. I'm like fanned out. He be like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's my guy right there. That's my Tupac of social media. The boy king.
Dang.
You know, I got other ones I like 7 Bomar, 19 Keys, B Dale, Red and Blue Pill. You know, people don't think that people learn from their mistakes along the way. Everybody not squeaky clean, and if you find a motherfucker that's squeaky clean, bring that motherfucker to me so I can learn from him.
Somebody done clean them
I
up
want to know.
and just swept it under the rug.
Right. I want to know how he walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and he ain't had to do nothing.
Yeah, no.
You gonna do some dirt, but you gonna learn from it, adjust, and you're gonna turn the loss into a lesson, so you can't never lose. That's the ways of the wise. That's the tribal way. There go King David, my boy, Dave Allison, that's my homeboy from way back. We was running the streets of the Yak, terrorizing, and they told me I was a big fish in a small pond, so they sent me to Chicago. When I get to Chicago, they send me back home, say, you ain't no big fish in this small pond, you a whale in a lake.
Damn. So let's just talk about Project 2025.
Look, we got a 2025 National Mardi Gras for the whole year. Or you can follow the other paradigm of the gloom and doom. I ain't following that paradigm. That has nothing to do with me.
Right.
My paradigm is the revelation of the great World's Fair of the hidden technology in the med beds to get rid of the hospitals and the healing chambers to regenerate lost limbs and rebuild broken spinal columns and unlock those children with the dystrophy, right? Correcting the birth defects. That's the technology that's the 2025 I'm finna go into. Now, anybody else, I don't know what 2025 they about to go through and whose
Yeah,
agenda
yeah,
they about to follow.
yeah,
But I'm following the tribal liberation agenda to set the captives free
yeah.
and to reveal to the people that we free once again for real, not that fake declaration, emancipation proclamation bullshit that was just a transferring of the slave from the private sector to the public domain so that they could put all of us in slavery instead of just some of us.
I think it's just another. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I didn't even. One of my friends asked, "Did I read it?" I said, "I that don't. That's not. It don't concern me. I don't need to read that because it don't
I read
concern
it.
me." Mm-mm. I didn't.
I read it. I read it when it was a hot discussion of topics in the conspiracy theory circle. I read it. I don't believe that shit though. I don't believe they're gonna apply none of the. See, remember, it's two sets of plans being applied at the same time. It's us, the Earthborn, and we fighting somebody that ain't from Earth. Whether you call them fallen angels or whatever you call them, they ain't us. They not gonna win. So they had a whole lot of agendas. They got Agenda 2025, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050. I don't care what their agenda is. They playing and I playing and my plan Trump they playing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to talk about Akhenaten and the talk about Obama being cloned from the bloodline of Akhenaten. I definitely want to talk about that.
In search of the area. He knew the Aryan race was the Dravidians. And he knew that the God seat comes through the royal bloodlines of ancient Egypt. So when they discovered how to do cloning, he had his scientists working on the cloning project. So in the Boys from Brazil movie, they tell you that he was cloning himself, but that's not who he was cloning. When they went to Egypt, they found the mummy of Akhenaten and they took his cells in order to create clones. Originally, there was 50 Obamas. It looked just like him. Now, I think there's only like 10 of them left that they didn't experiment to death on. And so every time you think you're looking at Obama, it ain't the same person. They clones. He got about 10 clones. But all of them don't operate from that agenda. The one that they thought was the most character-wise like Akhenaten is the one that they chose to push to the positions of power. And that's why his birth certificate is in the Philippines, but he was actually born in South America in the cloning lab. And he was given to a family using CIA channels under Operation Paperclip.
Somebody said, "How you think his hair turned gray so fast?"
They do that on purpose. So the story they give us for the years of the White House grayed his hair. Because remember when he went
Yeah.
in, he was
Mm-hmm.
okay. And they said it's the stress of the job that caused his hair to turn gray. When you do as much dirt as that SOB do, your hair gonna turn gray too, because that's a whole lot of stress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember Benghazi. Benghazi is important because when you go look at the pictures of the shooters, you're gonna see Tupac. He was working with some Arabs and they assaulted the Benghazi embassy on purpose so that they can put Tupac's picture back out into the public to let everybody know that this is not a game, but it's a game, right? So when they put his picture out, they raised the bounty on the head of Assata Shakur because they can't tell nobody that Tupac alive, but they showing his picture.
Right, right, right. Ah!
And they deliberately made the picture blurry. They technology, the picture didn't have to be blurry.
Damn.
They did that on purpose, so you can't quite make out, is that Pac or is that not?
Mm. 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 Mm.
We've been
Somebody said
at
why
war for 500 years.
500 years. Somebody said why did they put Princess Diana's picture back out in the
That's
public?
called soft disclosure. It's called soft disclosure. They put her picture up, but they don't tell you why. That's soft disclosure. They prepping you for something.
Damn. You know what? I people might not agree with it, but I gotta hand it to them. These motherfuckers was good. They did that. They was good. Good. Greatest show on earth is what we looking at.
See, my roster brothers sent the shout out. I, Selassie I, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Conqueror Lion of the Lion of Judah. I, Selassie I, Emperor Haile Selassie, not of the bloodline of the artificial Jewish family. The information of his bloodline is in Who is Haile Selassie by Malachi Z. York. They tell you he not from the infiltrators' bloodline who call themselves Jews.
Mm.
And that's how I knew he was earthborn. And that's how I knew that the Rasta science deserved a fair shake, because they was telling us something. I just got to figure out what they telling us. And so Nipsey came to sew it all up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Eritrean blood was part of the redemption process of the earth. And sometimes we got caught up in wars amongst each other because we don't know who to trust. Because the enemy look like us, but they just not us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they was able to infiltrate our families.
Mm-hmm. That's why I chose that song. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner. Everybody ain't a real nigga. If I say I got you, I got you. I meant that. That's why I chose that.
Black girl magic. If she say she got it, she got it. Ain't no doubt
Got it.
about it.
Got it. Got
That's
it.
my baby girl. My baby girl, black girl magic. She don't play. She don't play. And her cousin, they both work that black girl magic to help with the process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the black girl magic say she got it, she got it. They be having me go on what's called high frequency knowledge drops. She say, we gonna learn them something today. We gonna learn they ass whether they want to know or not. We gonna learn they ass today. Signed, Black Girl Magic.
That's what we need.
And the
Is
irony of it is it's backed up from Brown Girl Magic and White Girl Magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all came together in order to put in their little magic formula ingredient into the stew in order for us to use it as a collective. But we so busy being stuck in the paradigms of divide and conquer and following the caste system of the enemy.
Mm.
The caste system of the enemy is enforced through making you separate yourself by skin color in the Americas, but also by financial status. So if they can control who get rich, they can control who got status. But where do that leave the po niggas and the po white trash down at the bottom fighting each other in the name of skin color, and neither one of them ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of? How long before we decide to sit down with the po white trash and have a conversation about the common enemy that's telling us that we need to hate each other because my hair nappy and his straight? His skin yellow that they call white, and mine brown or red that they call black.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't assume the positions given to us by oppressors in order to keep their power structure in play, using all doctrines of hate and the formation of excuses to dislike other people without ever having a conversation with them. That's how you know that you've been controlled by an outside force, because you hating somebody that you know nothing about. Everything look black ain't black, and everything look white ain't white. We got to remember, one drop of blood is all it took to make them one of us. And how do you expose that one drop of blood? Arts and entertainment. They used to sing opera, now they sing soul. What happened? They got a drop of blood. Look, there was no such thing as a pale face that sing like Adele in 1905. You did not have a Joss Stone in 1915. You did not have a Christina Aguilera in 1920. You did not have a Shakira in the 1930s. So they was using us to do all of the entertainment while they assimilate the drop of blood. And the assimilation of the drop of blood in the great melting pot allows them to express soul force energy. And this is how you know if they really from the old stock or if they've been revitalized with a drop of blood. They used to couldn't dance. Now they hip hop masters.
Yeah.
Break dancing, pop locking, and the whole name.
Yeah.
When you ain't got no soul, you can't assimilate that frequency in order to match the beat.